Mr. Luciano Paredes, a pleasure to have you on CGTN. Thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you, John, for having me. It's a pleasure.
We're very excited about the upcoming APEC CEO Summit. Can I ask you about your expectations?
We're actually honored to chair APEC for the third time. This is a very important year, not only for Peru hosting APEC, but for the region. We have invited actually APEC leaders from China, Australia, Canada, Chile, Indonesia, Malaysia, New Zealand, Thailand, the United States, and Vietnam to engage with the business community around APEC through the platform of the APEC CEO Summit. And we are sure they will offer valuable perspectives on trade, sustainability, regional cooperation, among other topics. By having APEC leaders take part in the program, the business community can hear firsthand what their priorities are and vice versa. And we can align our objectives and work better together. So that's the main spirit of the APEC CEO Summit. And the expectations for this year are very high. And of course, the participation of the Chinese delegations will be critical and important. And we hopefully this is led by President Xi himself. President Xi is a long-time speaker at the APEC CEO Summit. Actually, he participated in the last APEC CEO Summit we hosted in 2016, and we anticipate His Excellency will reinforce China's commitment to multilateralism, sustainable development, innovation, and inclusive growth.
Let's spend some time on this year's theme, people, business, prosperity, which, in my opinion, is especially relevant in our global context today. Can you share with us why this theme for this year and how it reflects APEC's priorities?
The theme People, Business, and Prosperity underscores APEC dedication to fostering shared prosperity for individuals and businesses across the region. One of the greatest challenges of our time is, without any doubt, to ensure that economic growth is also inclusive. And this is a debate that is taking place in all of our economies. And this means that everyone can benefit and now no one is left behind in this virtuous circle of economic growth. And I mean that we also need to target a social growth. It's not only economic. So the theme of APEC and the APEC CEO Summit that we put together for this year aims to understand that prosperity is the main goal within the region, that businesses do have to play a key role in achieving that economic dynamism. But in fact, people should be at the very first place of our priorities and work. There are significant global economic challenges going on, including a recent warning by the United Nations that we most likely will not meet the climate change targets. There's also the rapid and disruptive impact of AI on the world of work. Economic integration is more crucial than ever to address these shared issues. So APEC's purpose of fostering greater economic integration and free trade is essential for building resilient economies that can actually adapt to these very particular circumstances. Recently, the APEC Business Advisory Council have focused on advancing the free trade area of the Asia Pacific. We have, for example, made some, I would say, humble progress in that front with agreements like CPTPP that are promising, but there's a lot of room for further action to strengthen connectivity and regional integration. Then we also have the more like logistical or structural challenges like inflation, supply chain disruptions, and others that also will have to lead to initiatives that reduce trade barriers, improve supply chain resilience, and encourage a more sustainable but resilient economic growth.
The governance of AI or artificial intelligence is a hot topic. How should we come together to ensure the responsible development of AI?
I think it's very important that we establish ethical frameworks for responsible AI by promoting transparency, fairness, and inclusivity. These shared guidelines are crucial for addressing ethical issues, such as, for example, privacy concerns. This is of the elephants in the room when we talk about AI, and the risk of bias. and misinformation. That's also an implication of AI that we need to address. I think in that end, governance and regulation is being discussed. There's no silver bullet yet in the region for how to approach or address AI development. But the perspective of the private sector is that we should certainly promote AI. AI is a disruptive force, impacts positively in personal and companies' productivity. But of course, we have to do so in a responsible way that is compliant to, for example, the international data flows regulations and the governance of data. AI can have a transformative effect in sectors like healthcare, education, or finance across the APEC region. So we should certainly promote it. We cannot, however, deny the risk of job displacement or inequality that could arise with a poorly managed AI environment. Many of the APEC economies like China, US, Canada are at the forefront of the AI development. So I'm pretty sure we are at a safe scenario where we will have these innovators collaborate with the policymakers to ensure that the AI development is safe and also productive.
Digital health has become increasingly important. How can APEC member economies collaborate to ensure digital health innovation and ensure equitable access across the region?
Indeed, health, especially after the pandemic, has become an increasing priority within our development agenda across the APEC region. And digital health is actually a way to create resilient healthcare systems. APEC economies are collaborating for a standardization of health data, for example, improving efficiency and how to be ready across the region for any health circumstances that may arise. Investments, for example, in telemedicine and mobile health tools enhance equitable access to especially in underserved areas. How to provide better health services for everyone within our economies is one of the main questions that the pandemics left. Certainly, it's a bigger challenge for development economies like Peru. And this is something we are trying to address and leveraging technology to bridge that gap in the coverage of health services. Public education on using digital health tools, particularly for the elderly, is vital. Many tools won't fulfill their purpose if people is not educated correctly on how to use them. There are two sides of it. Deploying all these digital platforms that can provide or facilitate access to health services, but there's also the part of educating the people and training so they can make use properly of these tools.
How would you characterize the strategic importance of China-Peru cooperation under the APEC framework, and what opportunities do you see for enhanced collaboration?
So our relationship with China is pretty amazing. Honestly, China has been our first trade partner for over a decade. We have been receiving important investments of Chinese companies in critical sectors, like, for example, energy, infrastructure, ports. Actually, this November, we will inaugurate the Shanghai port, brand new facility constructed by Costco Shipping Group. It promises to change the connectivity landscape between the Asia and Latin America. We have a robust and historic alliance. Actually, Peru was one of the first Latin American economies to establish both diplomatic and economic ties with China. We have an FTA that is under revision. We are trying to modernize the terms of our agreements, and we are doing very good in that exercise bilaterally. The APEC region, it represents around 65% of the Peruvian exports annually. Half of that goes to China. So we really expect that this APEC summit will be positive to move forward and advance that bilateral relationship